wanted to make another video about Michaela. Michaela, now this is going to be kind of disturbing. I know September 11th is coming up, and all this attention and all the things that I said, and the President of the United States being involved or whatnot, President Barack Obama. But when I've never shared this video before because I never knew that Michaela was my sister. Because I never knew Michaela was my sister. Everyone's coming around me bringing up Michaela and trying to figure out what I know about my biological father, Hector, and Michaela. And I don't know that these people are related to me. Even when I lived at the shelter, Michaela knew way before that. And I had no idea. Otherwise, if I would have known that Michaela was my sister and she was at the Lawrence Community Shelter there, I would have fell to my knees and probably started crying. Like, you're my sister, and I actually went there, like it was over a year ago, and I told staff members I was looking for her, and I just said that was my sister. I said, that's my sister, that's my blood sister, we share the same father, can you tell me where she is, because I was looking for Michaela. But anyway, she doesn't work there anymore, and I don't know what happened to her, and I had seen her in Dallas several times. But I wanted to make this video because when I was 32 years old, it was whenever the first time, I was 33 years old, I think I was, 32 or 33, or I was about to turn 34, and I had been homeless. When I first became homeless, I was like in Dallas, Texas, living on the streets for like a year or something like that, and then I moved to Denver, Colorado, and then I was homeless, and I lived there, got a place to stay with an individual for like 6 months, and I was living on the streets. And I had nothing. I don't have anybody I'm contacting, no family members or nothing. I'm just by myself begging to people for places to stay, because at the time I'm not on disability, I can't find a job, I can barely get unemployment. When I do, I'm getting like $200 I'm getting like $500 a month, and that just covers for food, so I have to live on the streets and beg for people. So I saved up a little bit of money. Some nice guy, Richard Morosky, old man, really old man, 70 years old, let me stay at his house rent free, and very nice guy, he was pretty nice, and I ended up leaving there, and I ended up thought, where am I going to go? He said, eventually I had to leave after like 5 months. So I said, okay, well, so you start looking for another place, man. And it's like, okay. And it wasn't out of bad terms or anything, because we got along great. We used to drink liquor and stuff, like sip on liquor and drinks every once in a while and just sip on it. He was great to chat with, like old man talk, and had wonderful stories. But I decided, well, I have to figure out a place, and I had nothing to lose. I'm going to go to Alaska. So I went to Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska. I had no prior plans, years, months, ever in my life that I ever believed I was ever going to go to Anchorage, Alaska. I have nothing, no knowledge. There's very little research that I've ever done or interest in Alaska that I've ever done in my life. I just thought I would go there because it was on the other side of the world and away from everything, because I continued to get harassed and threatened by so many people that I had to get up and leave. So when I got on the plane, I started heading out there, and it's the first time I ever been on a plane. Because when I got to Denver the first time, before I left to Alaska, I got out there by bus. This is the first time I ever got on a plane and went to Alaska. And when I went to Alaska, get on the plane, and it's like a 12-hour, not 12 hours, it was probably like 10-hour flight or something like it. It's like 10 or 12 hours or so it felt like. And I'm on the plane, we're flying on there, and there's this woman that's next to me. And she is, at the time I'm 32, 33, she looks like she's probably in her late 30s to early 40s. I'm going to say she looked like she was in her late 30s. And she looked a lot of the mirror image of Michaela. And she tried to talk to me, like, And she was a woman. She was a female, for sure. I mean, I highly doubt she was a transgender. I very highly doubt. I mean, this is a female. I could tell that she was. And she asked me, I asked her, and I said a little bit about my life. And goes, yeah, I don't know anybody. I have a couple siblings. I'm just, out there. At the time, I'm not really telling very many people that I'm living homeless on the streets. Because at the time, I'm just living like a bum. That's really all I am to people. And when I'm on the plane, she says something to me, and she's trying to figure. She's in the conversation with me, and it's really just small talk. And she's in a conversation with me, and she mentions something. I know they're making me pass gas right now. She mentions something to me, and she says, she says like she's trying to figure out whether she knows how many brothers and sisters I have. And trying to figure out if I know Michaela's my sister. And she's looking and she's flipping through this magazine, and she goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I got 2 kids. He goes, yeah. And I got to tell her, and I said, yeah, I got 2 brothers I grew up with, and at the time I don't have a hair of an idea that my mom is identical twins or Julian is identical twins. I have no idea. And I'm just thinking the life that I lived, I grew up, 2 brothers in a house, a dad and a mom. And once I tell her that I only had 2 brothers, but I said, oh, I have 2 other half brothers and a half sister. We were raised by the same father, but it was different generations, and I don't ever talk to them. I talked to like a brother of mine and went there for Thanksgiving once, but I just communicate with one of them seldom, rarely. And that was it. But I just grew up with 2 of my brothers, and that was it. That's all the brothers. I don't know if my mom had any other kids, that I know of, but I'm always getting surprises. And I really said it like that. And she goes, and she goes, and she's like thinking to herself, because she's asking me, like she's trying to figure out if I know I have any brothers and sisters. And she's like in shock. And she looks and she's like, who didn't tell you had, like, and she knows, she looks just like Michaela. So I wanted to say this because I think it's important. This has been trailing me for a very long time, and I don't know who has been following Michaela and tracking you down. But you're going to have the worst people in life that's ever going to come around you. I really pray to God. I pray to God all the time that you're safe. You have a group of people that are keeping you protected, because you're going to have so many enemies and so many bad people eventually, because they're doing it to me, that they're going to want to hurt you just to get to me. They're going to want to hurt you, and it's just likely to happen because of the whole notoriety of everything that's going on. So I thought that was important for me to discuss. And as you can see right now, that they're shooting me right now with an electronic device, and they're shooting me in my eyeball. I don't know if you can see it twitch. You'll see it right there. It's right about there. They're shooting me, and it's twitching, and it feels like that. It feels like it's just like a little ball or something just moving up and down. So anyway, so I needed to make this video because for Michaela, and Michaela, I hope this helps to everything that's going on. I'm gonna probably be making some other videos. I deleted so many videos because you have no idea. You have no idea how many videos I've made. I've probably made, in the last 10 years, I've probably made, and photos of evidence, and photos of evidence, and me just talking, please stop shooting me with the electronic devices and all the things. I've probably made over 4,000 videos and pictures. And I'm not exaggerating. Easily over 3,000 feels like it's underestimated, because I was doing this every day. making videos, taking pictures, and expressing what these people were doing to me. So, and the treatment, nearly digging in trash cans for food. So, I hope this helps. That this has been trailing me for a long time, and obviously before, probably in my early 20s, because I didn't know that you were my sister, and I didn't know I had another biological father. That's what they did. And obviously when I spoke to Michaela in person, she got really upset because she knows that somebody went after my biological father. Someone did something to her and her mother that was really bad. I don't know what it was. I could just 100% I could tell that she was thinking about like my mother and what about my father, because I remember she was trying to kind of let me know, I think, that okay, he's just not a worthless life and just came by and had a kid with your mom. Like, he had a good side to him. He has a good side to him. So, you know, I say this, hopefully Michaela, you can watch this video to wherever it is. I don't know if even my biological father is still alive. But I hope, Michaela, you know, I'm always going to be searching for you for the rest of my life. In my opinion, I'm always going to be going somewhere or making a video, probably in discussions, because I have gone to Lawrence already. But to me, I think it's worth me making this discussion because there were two separate occasions. The one time that I saw her at the grocery store, Michaela at the grocery store, I was homeless. I was sleeping outside and I hadn't taken a shower like a whole month. Or like it was like 3 weeks. I was just like sleeping in an alley. I had no choice. And whenever I'm out, you know, when I'm walking in the grocery store, she's like in the fruit and vegetable area, and she just doesn't say anything to me. Just walks by me to like identify me. Like you have to identify a dead body, or you have to, you know, when someone passes away, you have to identify like someone that is lost or someone, you have to identify them. That's exactly what she did. And I had no idea. I don't say anything. And I thought to myself, I was like, wow, that girl's so pretty. But I thought, why do I know it sounds weird, but I was thinking, why do I feel like you're related possibly to me? I mean, it's the weirdest feeling ever to walk, to have that, because very few people in life ever get that chance. And I got lucky enough. She didn't say anything, just took a quick glance and then just kept on walking. And there wasn't anybody in that area. And I just looked at her and I was just kind of like, wow, that girl's really pretty. And I was like, and I thought it was kind of weird, and I was thinking, I was like, why would she just walk by me and not say anything? Because heterosexual women are never allowed to be around me, and she was one of them, so that I immediately knew that. I'm like, why is this heterosexual straight female walking by me not saying anything? Like, she didn't purchase anything, she wasn't looking at the food, she just walked by me, like 15 feet, 20 feet away from me as I was like in this area, and she just goes and just walks by. So I think it's important because that was the first time, and I was wearing my backpack. I still remember the black backpack I always have, and I was homeless. I was wearing my green, you know, Walmart jacket. It was dirty. I mean, I was just looked like a bum. I just looked like a bum, and you know, I always try to take care of myself every time I can. Hygiene, changing in the bathroom even, but I can't change out my outside clothes most of the time. I just change my undergarments. So, within a year of that, I would say one day I talked about this before. I was at the Magic Time Machine. I don't remember what grocery store this was at, but I think it's kind of weird because I think to myself, of all the places that she could have gone, why did she do that? And I wonder if she remembered. She remembered me when I saw her at the grocery store with her mother when I was about 10 years old. I was about 10 years old, no older than I was about 9 to 10 years old when I saw Michaela. with her mother. And I thought it was important because when I saw her mother and her, I didn't approach or say anything. They just looked at me like, at first I thought to myself like, damn, I was like, damn, it's the whole Mexican thing again. Like, because this is a white woman. I was like, this is a white person, I gotta be careful. They're white, everybody knows. Anybody that's colored understands what this feels like. When you're black or Chinese, you understand that maybe a white woman, the police shows up or anything, any argument, anything bad happens, they always go with the white person. And I thought was like, I don't know, I thought maybe she could have been racist, but then I looked at the daughter she had and she was like, well, it had to be something else because her hair was brunette, Kayla's hair is like this color. So I ended up going to the Magic Time Machine, and I saw her, and I was 35 years old at this point. This is like a year, I'm going to say like a year, roughly, a little more, a little less, from the time that I saw her at the grocery store. And there wasn't anybody at the grocery store. It was actually very empty. There wasn't anybody around. I thought it was weird. I thought it was kind of weird because it just wasn't. There was maybe one or two other people, but in the big area, and it wasn't on a, there should have been a lot more people. It looked like maybe a lot of people got deterred away, and just to see if she could identify me, and she didn't say anything. So I ended up at Magic Time Machine, a year and a half, a little more or less. Once I get there, and I'm working there, she shows up, and she's with she's a guy, she's looking over at me, and she's talking to someone, and she's trying to identify me, she's talking. And at first, I was like, I'm always nervous of the I'm always nervous of the gay community and transgenders because they're always threatening. It doesn't matter anything I ever do in life, they're always threatening, and they're always nasty, always, 100%. And so when I know that she's straight, heterosexual women, straight women are very smart, and transgenders don't understand what smart is and what woman is. They think they understand, they're not. I've never come across anybody like that. Very few, if any, I understand they live themselves as transgenders, but they don't understand women. They don't, even though they think they're R1. And that's fine if they live and they think they're R1, but they're not. And they don't behave, they don't have those elements. Because I know, because they're very loving and kind and accepting and protecting. It's nothing like that. So with them, and they all group together, and heterosexual people are not very much like that a lot. Especially the gay community. Obviously there's parades. There's no parades for straight community members at all. So I think it's important for me to say this because I didn't approach the table. They were there for probably 30 minutes and they left. Just them two. And she was like talking to this guy, then looking over and talking to this guy, then looking over at me, and just kind of looking and just like scoping me out, like trying to identify me or something. It was weird. I didn't understand, and I was kind of nervous because I was like, why? Obviously when I see somebody, like I see a lot of people always doing things, and I just walked off. I didn't walk off, but I just happened to be walking by back and forth in the area because I was cleaning, bussing tables, and I just happened to be there where and they left. And I think it's important. So I get on disability. 3 years later, I see Michaela. I'm at the shelter at 37 years old. So I'm 2.5 years later. It's like 2.5, almost 3 years. Anywhere from 2 to 3 years. I'm 37, late 37 to mid 37. Show up to the homeless shelter in Lawrence, Kansas again, and she's working there, and I have no idea. And I can't even tell that I even recognize this person, but I just thought it was weird that they hired a heterosexual woman. So she's working there. And she worked there for I was there at that homeless shelter for a total of 8 months. And she only worked there 2 or 3 days a week. And when she showed up, she was a counselor, or what are they? Not counselors, the people that kind of help you get an apartment and help you fill out applications to all these different things and amenities and any help you need with being homeless. She helps the homeless, and her position was she was a sort of helps all the other people and talks to them as well. But I never really saw her talk to very many other people at all. But I thought it was important, and because this has been going on for a long time, I hope you can contact me again. I'm hoping to speak to you. I'm hoping to reach out to you. But I want you to know that because I had not known that you were my sister, and that we share the same biological father, there were other people that were threatening me and coming at me, thinking that I knew, and were questioning and trying to figure out, asking me questions to figure out what I knew. And I had no idea. So every time that they get this information, then they go after you. And they go after my family and whatever it is, the harm that they want to do, or because the number one thing is to keep me separated from my family. Keep me separated until I develop cancer again or I pass away. That is the number one objective. They do not care about love. They do not care about putting people together. I find it very difficult, to my mind, that if Michaela truly didn't really care, like I had met some people in my life that really truly do not care, and their relatives, they're not going to call, they're not going to want to see me, they're not going to want to talk to me, they're not going to, nothing. They don't want anything to do with me. They will not do anything. In fact, they'll probably send people, they'll probably do things to harm me, intentionally have people do it for them. But they don't, they just go about their lives. They just go about their lives. They don't care. Michaela, I know, wanted to know who I was. And I thought it was important for me to say, because I get scared of your life. I don't know if your boyfriend or husband or any of these things, but please understand that whenever I'm going to the grocery store, even today, and I have my notepad that I'm writing my notes down, and I'll put my notepad and talk about a story about Michaela, and I go to the grocery store 3 days later and it's on my notepad on my phone, and I'm just doing grocery shopping or whatever, and then there'll be some guy that looks exactly like Michaela, or some transgender, and then it'll be some white guy that looks exactly like the white guy that you were talking to walk by me and then act like they're very threatening toward the brown-haired girl, which is like representing Michaela. And they're letting me know they're threatening her and putting her down because of what the situation is. So you can see how that relates to my notepad, how I'm writing stuff down to make a video or whatever notes a grocery list, and how they relate that to when I go to a grocery store just earlier today. So please understand that they're demonstrating to me that they want to harm you or whatever it is. It's just not good. The idea that there is no connection that any of these people want for you or me to ever have or ever speak as a sibling or as a brother or as a sister. They do not want that. They want you to hate me, and that's, I know that you have something very deep in your heart to know that I'm your brother. And I understand that, because when somebody really don't care about your life, they spit at you and they throw trash and food on the floor like they did so many times in my life. When I had nothing and they would just threaten me with police and would try to get violent, and I had nothing. I was living underneath the bridge. I was living in Castle Rocks, living underneath the bridge with roaches and snakes. I could only afford going to Jack in the Box. And you had no idea the threats and things, and the cash register claiming I'd pick up my food and they looked like it was spit in there. A couple of times I caught spit in my food. I've seen hair they put in my food. Like you could tell somebody did something to the food, or they will do something to the food that I'm eating to make me think that they're putting poison or doing something to it so that I don't eat it safe and comfortable. So please understand that I know that you have something that you have that has to be very good and rich in you. So please understand that even as I just was talking to you, I can feel them. They just shot me in my back, in my butt cheek, and it's to pinch me and saying, yeah, bite you in your fucking ass. And it's to poison me mentally of how I emotionally and think of you as my sibling, because this is coming from, now they just shot my calf muscle. So please understand that this is what they're doing to me. I tried to make the best conversation, hopefully, and reach out to you, but I think it's important for me to make this video. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to take it best I can. I don't know what time God has given me. I know that Michaela believes in Jesus. I don't think anybody in life, and it's weird because like when I saw Michaela, I had like my Buddha symbol and my Chinese energy, negative energy protectors all around me and my bunk whenever I was at the homeless shelter. I was sleeping in a warehouse. It's a warehouse, and I know it's a warehouse with garages, but it's air conditioned, and then they have bunk beds. It's like sleeping in a garage, air conditioned garage. And she approached me several times, and I thought it was important. But she believes in Christ. I got rid of all that Buddha stuff, and I was told not to mess with any of that. That it's all the devil's work. So I was told that by the community and the people that are in charge hundreds of times. And it's nothing against the Chinese or Asian community, but you don't understand what these people have done to me and how they threaten me for so many situations, because they are accepting in some cases. They're very loving and accepting, but they don't want me to do any of that because y'all are associated. It's the same thing with me. My ancestors were involved in Mayan calendars and Aztecs and other cultures. I don't know any of that, or am allowed to associate or believe and be proud of my Mexican heritage. I'm not allowed to, and it's because of these white people that believe in their, systems, and they don't care about Jesus. Even though I was raised in the Catholic Church, 95% of these people truly don't believe in Jesus. They truly don't read the Bible and believing it. They're just looking to get their wallets filled. They don't believe in an afterlife. They think it's a free coupon. That's what they think it is. They don't truly fear God. That the way that you're behaving and the actions you're taking matter, and that they have bad consequences that could happen, but ultimately it's what everyone does. There's very few people in life that truly believe in Jesus and God and won't fear another human being to try to defend or protect me, thinking that Jesus is going to help them, because the people will attack them to say what Jesus really said, and it becomes their word. So it just becomes gangs of pods of people. So I wanted to make a video on that. Hopefully, maybe I'll think of some other visit or some other time that showed up that I saw Michaela, and I'll make a video on it. But other than that, I believe in Jesus as well, and he just shot me with an electronic device here, making my muscle tissue twitch. The reason they shoot these electronic devices as well onto me is because it refrains me from being able to be mentally free. And it's to put me. I've had numbers of threats by psychologists in the crisis line and other people over the phone that I'm talking to, every phone call, and they'll tell me they're directing it right back at me. And it's just threats. That's all it is. It's just a confinement because the police won't do anything. The law officers are not wanting to help or do anything about it. So I want to make a video on that and some other topics I'll be making discussions about.